You can free run and free fall almost as easily as you travel through time and memory. But that's just a start in this historical sci-fi setting. It's got so much more, from fluid combat to twisting storylines.
You fit your father's shoes as if they had been tailored to your feet.
So climb the tallest building and leap before you look. It's gotta be Assassin's Creed Revelations. Alex Amancio, creative director on the game, gave us a tour through the old world.
What characters are the stars of Revelations?
Well, Ezio is definitely the star, but we also feature, obviously, Desmond. We're going to learn a lot more about that character. You know, he's always been a bit two-dimensional. We're actually adding a lot of depth to the character, and we're also going to be playing Altair.
Really?
Yeah.
So all three of the big stars are back in this one game?
Exactly.
You are Ezio Auditore.
See. Sorry for the delay.
Ezio, essentially, after the events of Brotherhood, he sort of killed all his enemies, sort of resolved all his different issues, and he finds himself looking back upon his life, and he's always been a very reactive character.
Gather your men. This will attract some attention.
In Revelations, he decides to sort of seek out the answers for himself, and he follows the footsteps, the trail of Altair, and that leads him to Masyaf, where he hopes to find some sort of secret documents that are hidden in a library vault. Upon reaching Masyaf, he finds it completely sort of littered with Templars. So what starts off as sort of an inner journey turns into a race against time.
Our struggle seems to move in one direction only, towards chaos.
What's happening with Desmond now? Where do we pick up from the Brotherhood storyline?
Well, as you know, Desmond falls into a coma at the end of Brotherhood. To sort of keep him alive and keep his consciousness from falling into limbo, they plug him back into the Animus. But he's in such a weak state that instead of falling down into the White Room, which is the typical loading program for the Animus, he falls straight down into what we call the Black Room, which is, think of it as DOS. Very powerful, but it's not meant for a user. So what happens is this place, sort of the physicality of it, gets populated by bits and fragments of Desmond's subconscious. It's really a cool opportunity for us to explore a bit more about Desmond's past and add a little bit more depth to that character.
What the hell?
What different locations will we see?
We're going to have Constantinople, which is our sort of major city. And we also feature a brand new city, sort of a new approach to cities from Assassin's Creed. It's called Cappadocia, and it's an underground city. It's actually based on a real location where around 10,000 people lived for a little over 100 years.
As you move within the historical cities, your weapons not only look badass, but they also help you get around.
The hook blade is an Ottoman modification to the hidden blade.
Where is your hook blade? My hook blade.
What this does, actually two things. First of all, it improves navigation, speeds it up by about 25 to 30%, adds a lot more fluidity. Plus, it actually bridges navigation and combat. So the hook blade, allows you to enter combat faster, exit combat faster, and also adds a lot of really cool, finishing moves. Now that Ezio is sort of older and wiser, Eagle Vision has evolved into what we call Eagle Sense. Eagle Sense is, now wiser. He not only uses his eyes, but also his instincts. So, this lets you do really cool stuff like, for instance, get on a rooftop, find the trail of an enemy, follow that to a crowd, and then be able to sort of find that bad guy in the crowd.
Are there going to be any more Borgia towers that we get to topple?
We are keeping a version of that mechanic. This sort of consolidates not only the Borgia towers, but the Assassin's Guild and City Improvement all into one system.
While not the center point of the game, the cool multiplayer moments have received an update since Brotherhood.
First of all, we listened to what the fans had to say, and we addressed the issues that we had, for example, player matching. And then what we did is we added new locations, we added new game modes, and we completely revamped and added new characters and player customization. We find that fans of Assassin's Creed really love the narrative. They like the story, and since in multiplayer you are playing Templars, we really wanted to sort of give a little more information about what's going on with Abstergo, the Templars, so we added a narrative element to multiplayer.
A narrative element,
yeah.
Really?
As you go up in the echelons of Abstergo, that you start getting more and more in the know, and you start having a sense of what actually goes on in Abstergo.
So you're kind of seeing another side of things that you're not getting in the single player mode.
Exactly.
Very cool.
The details in the world come alive, from the big vistas down to the people.
We're scanning our characters, which gives us, like a huge jump in quality in terms of like the actual appearance of, faces. We revamped our shader system to get more realistic skin shaders, and we're also using a new system we call MoCam, which is sort of a new approach to grabbing facial data for animation.
Don't you ever stop howling.
With the word Revelations in the title, it sounds like the loose ends will be resolved.
This game is the end of the sort of Ezio trilogy. So the character, we will wrap up the Ezio character. We also are wrapping up Altair. Is it going to be the end of Assassin's Creed? Obviously, the universe is extremely rich. Like, there's tons of characters to explore. There's tons of new locations and new timelines people actually want to play in. So even though this could be the end of a cycle, as our game is the end of the Desmond cycle, it doesn't mean it's the end of the actual franchise.
The final journey commences.
We can't wait to see how the story comes together. And if you're new to the series, Ubisoft even bundles the original game on the PS3. From the high-flying acrobatics to its rich setting, this storyline is wrapping up with a bang. What pressing questions will finally be answered in Assassin's Creed Revelations? You just have to step into the Animus one more time to find out.